Hello and welcome, everybody. This is our podcast, Welcome to Livingston. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela, and we're with the Putkela Group Real Estate Professionals.
Yeah, and we are so excited for episode 66 today, where we are inviting in ATA Residential Solutions. So welcome, Alan. We're just so happy to have you here.
Alan Hamilton, now you're the business development and co-founder then.
I am. Thank you for having us. First off, we're very happy to be here with you guys today. I am one of the two owners. I'm one of the two A's, if you will. The T came from our father. We always openly joke that the T holds up the A's, so a little homage to our father. ATA Residential Solutions, what we are is we're a home improvement company here in Southeast Michigan. We service anywhere from 59 all the way down to Ann Arbor going south. And going east, we service all the way to Royal Oak, and it's kind of our cutoff. Our target areas mainly have been Brighton and Lyon Township, but Livingston County has been great to us. I mean, it's really taken us in like a family, so we're happy to be here.
Awesome. Great. We're so happy to have you. Exciting. So in terms of, you had mentioned about your brother and your dad, and how do you guys all fit into it? How did you start it?
So honestly, it was your typical entrepreneur dream, if you will. We started in April 2019. What a great time to start in construction right before the unknown shutdown. No one knew that was coming. The first year of the company, we honestly started with $300 in the middle of a table and said, let's see what we can do with this.
Wow.
So the first year of the company, Aaron was still working as a steel worker. I was still actively working as a firefighter full time. And we just grew the business. We took zero profits our first year in business and just turned everything back into the company and then grew it to where it is now. Currently, we employ 4 carpenters, looking to hire a 5th, trying to find the right fit and keep growing the brand. But the main thing for us was creating an environment where clients and homeowners could come to a contractor and have the family feeling, add more intimacy to the process other than here's what we're going to do. Here's the price. Yes or no.
Right.
And I just don't believe in that.
To be sold to, right?
No, treat people like people. And the biggest thing for us is, although you want the projects, right? Because that's what helps your business grow and helps you grow as a whole and as a team. We also want the relationship. 90% of what we do has been referral based.
Right.
Although our social media platforms have helped, it's really you're only as good as your last job. So, and how that interaction is with that client. Are they willing to refer you to their friends, family, etc.?
Exactly.
And that's huge,
Right, yeah. So, and what drew you to remodeling and renovation?
So we grew up around it. We come from a family of skilled tradesmen. So working with your hands every day as young boys with our grandfather in the barn, and it just transitioned into adult life. Him and I both worked in construction. I had I guess you say eye for it, if you will. At the time, we didn't know if we necessarily wanted to do it full time. So we always did it like as a firefighter. It's no question that we always had leave day jobs. So on my off days when I wasn't at the firehouse, I was doing construction. And when Aaron wasn't working in the steel industry, his off days, which generally were weekends, he was working on one of the projects we had going on. And we looked at it, and we looked at the people we're working for, like, man, the environment's okay, but we can create a better environment, a better culture that we'd want to work for, and have more of the liberties to be with our families, because we both have young families. So being around those times, not missing those moments like I was with the schedule I had. Aaron was, even though he was home in the evenings, he was working, 10, 12-hour shifts a week.
That's a lot.
And varying in his schedule. So we wanted the freedom with that. We knew we could do it. So first was the hardest part, coming up with a name. And we landed on ATA Residential Solutions and kind of looked at all of our initials put together. And then our father has been a single parent our whole adult lives, and he has children. He was raising all 3 of us on his own. So we're like, all right, we'll tip the hat to our dad, ATA, put the T in the middle, and he holds the A's up. And it just fit, and it stuck. And then start pushing the name, and one job led to another and another. And then finally it got to the point where Aaron, in COVID, took a voluntary layoff from the steel industry, not knowing what was going to happen, and went all in on the business, as a true entrepreneur would do. Said, hey, I'll take a bet on myself versus this 9 to 5. And just the business grew probably like 40% once he left, because now this was all he had.
Right.
And at the time we were working with one other carpenter, just him and our other carpenter, who's now our foreman. Tip the hat to Shane, shout out to him. And they're able to help grow the business to what it is now. And then happily, my wife and I were expecting our 3rd child, Weston. He was born in June of this year, and April.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So exciting.
It is. And then in April we had, I had an injury at the firehouse, and I had some time off, some time to reflect. And that was the most time I've ever had off. And I looked back at it and said, I think I have to make a choice. Business was starting to grow and it was conflicting with my schedule as a firefighter, even though it was very lenient on the times that I worked. And, the 24-hour shift schedule, 10 days a month wasn't bad, but as the business grew, it became more demanding. And I made a choice to leave in April of this year and haven't turned back. And since I left, the business has grown significantly. We're on to better things. We launched ATA Custom Basements shortly after I left, which was a separate stream of market to the finished basements itself, and it's taken off from there. But we just always loved it. To circle back to your question, we just always loved doing construction, hands-on, making something, and the gratification you had at the end of it of, we built this. And as brothers, it wasn't just like we built it or he built it. We built it together as brothers and as friends. And it's kind of cool to see since I left the fire service and since Aaron's been all in, and our sons, even at a young age, I mean, they're only 3 years old, but they get to see how their dads as brothers not only grow as brothers and family, but we've been able to grow as business owners, and you learn a lot from each other.
And family-owned
I can only
business,
imagine.
It really, really is that, you think to the next generation and small businesses, it's not unusual for the younger generation to get started.
Exactly.
Yeah, and absolutely. And like our faith has been something that's been true to us, and a lot of the successes we had, we couldn't have them without the work of God. And Aaron and I always look at that, and we're very thankful for it. But our goal, what we want to leave behind, it's not money, it's not amenities or possessions, it's a legacy. We want to leave something behind for our kids to say, our fathers built this, they earned it, and we pass it down to them because they'll earn it. We're not going to hand it to them, of course, but we just want something passed on saying those guys did it right.
Really making a difference.
Absolutely. And what makes a huge difference with that is having our roots in the Brighton community in Livingston County.
Yeah.
You're only as good as the soil that you plant your roots in. So being that we plant our roots in the soil of Livingston County and especially Brighton, it's helped us grow tremendously, because a tree's not going to grow in bad soil.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a great analogy.
That's kind of the approach Aaron and I took when we created this company.
Wow. That is really profound. So I know ATA Residential Solutions, but what areas would you say you specialize in?
A great question. So our specialties right now is home additions. So everyone knows with the rise of the interest rates and the lack of inventory in the market, adding on the home might be more cost effective than buying a new home. So we really took to the market of home additions. We've done a few now. We keep growing that market of us, but our real bread and butter, what we've done a lot of is like general whole house remodeling, but especially finished basements.
Okay. That's what I wondered was the most common type of job. So
probably if we were to split it down the line, I'd have to say 45% to 50% of it has been finished basements. And the things you can do with a basement is crazy. Aaron says it perfect. I wish he could have made it today, but he always tells folks when we meet with them, we really make mini homes. We take your first floor and we replicate it in your basement. And we increase the value of the home and give you a more functional space. And that's the one thing for us, too. When you invite ATA into your home, it's not like, yep, this is your budget. Oh, we can do that. If it doesn't make sense and it can save you money, we're going to tell you. Our main thing isn't just the project. Again, it goes back to the relationship. How do we make the space functional and fit you? Not exceed the budget, not, I can get this for this project.
Right.
You might not make what you want on the first project, but you got 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's about playing the long game.
You lean into that consultative perspective.
Right. And
100%.
And it's interesting for when you started and you mentioned COVID and such. What we found from the real estate side is the way people feel about those extra spaces in their house has changed profoundly. So people always liked a finished basement, but now they need that space. And it's become so much more important to them and the functionality of it because, they didn't realize till they were stuck in their homes how important that space in their house was.
Oh, absolutely. And the main thing too is not number one, keeping up with the trends, but number two, everyone's like, well, my neighbor did this, so I'm going to do this. Well, not always does it make sense for you to do the same thing they did. Why did they do it? And we dig deeply into the why when someone calls us for a consultation. And our approach is a 3-phase approach. Generally speaking, contractor comes out to your home after you call them for an estimate. Within a couple of days, here's your estimate, yes or no. We don't want to believe in that because you're building that relationship with the homeowner, the client. So what we do is you call our office. Stephanie does a great job at it. She'll answer any questions that you have, ask you some questions, give you some things to think about, schedule you for the estimate. And then following that, Aaron and I go out to your home. We meet in person, about a half hour, 40 minutes. We sit at your table, gather the thoughts of what you want to do for the project. and then go back to our office. And within a week and a half, we meet a second time. The second time we go over your proposal in person, again, more intimate than the general contracting approach, and kind of open the floor. Hey, how did you come up with these numbers? Well, this is our justification behind it. Kind of walking through the homeowner versus the sticker shock effect.
Right.
Well, if we can explain to it more and take some more time to go over what we're proposing, it goes over better. And then if everything works out, homeowner wants to move forward, they sign contract with us, we meet a third time. The third time we just go over further detailed out plans. They get a copy. We keep a copy on the job site for our subcontractors and our guys to reference, and then go from there. But it's turned out to be a pretty good approach, and we've had a really good success with that process. But again, it's taking more time that some contractors don't want to take. Well, I can just get this and go on the next job. Well, with playing the long game, you also have to play. Things aren't going to be as good as they might be today.
Right.
So if you don't take the time to get to know someone, and then now you're like, don't have any jobs booked out, especially if you're a younger company.
Like planting seeds.
Right.
Planting seeds. You know,
your
it's
analogy.
you're not always going to see the fruits of your labor overnight.
Right. And I love that you sit down and you have those conversations with them, because, you know, a basement is way more than, hey, we're just going to throw up some walls, we're going to drop down some flooring, put in a drop ceiling, and it's done. It's, you know, having that conversation to realize what the vision is for it and hear from them, you know, what's important to them, you know, because some people, you know, they want a space for their, you know, a sauna, or they want the pool table. Other people, there's different uses that they want the basement for.
Well, each person is so different, though. Like we find in terms of homes, what one person's needs are so very different from the others, and we're very careful not to assume. And so often, it's not unusual sometimes where someone is thinking about selling their house, and then, you know, we talk to them and say, I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense. Maybe you should give Alan and his team a call, because you love everything else about it, but really you just want your basement redone. You know, it's just being consultative, I think, is something that people appreciate more than anything. No one wants to be sold to.
Absolutely. And another thing we do too, and we just recently ran into this, we're in Lyon Township doing an estimate for a finished basement, and very nice family. And they're like, well, we need more space in the basement because I have my grandkids over often. I need somewhere for them to sleep. Well, where they thought, and they had no idea that you can't do this, where they thought to put the bedroom wasn't safe. There's no means of egress in case of emergency. And they were just looking to finish the space to have room to put beds. So when the grandkids were over, they had somewhere for the grandkids to sleep that was sealed up in their mind safe. But taking that extra step to explain why you can't put the bedroom there and the safety reasons behind it goes a long way. And even not to that extreme, if you walk into someone's home and say, hey, this home looks like it's new. How long has it been built? Oh, we just moved in a month ago. It hasn't been here for a year. Well, we always suggest call us back to finish the basement after a year, let the house settle a little bit, and let's make sure no water's gotten in. And It's just a real thorough process where I could easily go in there and say, yeah, we can do it. And you'll probably get the job, right?
Yeah, but it's not the right thing.
No, it's not putting validity behind your name. It's not being honest, and it's against our core values of what we stand for.
And I would assume that having the firefighter background, you sometimes look at these things with a different eye than a contractor would.
100%. You know, the one thing we always say, if I don't trust to do this in my home and from the things I've seen through my career in public safety, I'm not going to put it in your home. You know, I love that. You're literally, our motto is making your dream space reality, which we do. But it's also people are trusting their home in our hands. And that goes a long way, because in our industry, it's no secret when you get called, you're already working behind the eight ball because there's this negative persona around contracting companies. You know, everything's in fine print. What are they going to get me on? And we're really trying to break that and make a new industry standard. But again, we started in 2019. We don't have decades behind us yet. And you're kind of working against the odds, but we're going to stay true to who we are and keep pushing.
That's the right way to do business.
It is, you know, and it'll pay off in the long run. And not everyone's going to agree with what I said, but it's who we are.
Your clients are happy with you, and they're recommending you to their friends and their family. And when you run a good business,
absolutely,
it grows.
And that's how we've been able to get the reviews that we've gotten. And we're so thankful for it, because we take value for each and every project. And not everything goes smoothly, but it's about how are you going to handle the adversity? How are you going to troubleshoot the problem and take ownership for it and say, yeah, we can make this right there. Even if you lose a couple bucks, take care of the homeowner.
Right.
Give them encouragement that not every contractor is like this and that things are getting better. And it goes so far, so far.
Who you hire matters. Honest to goodness.
Absolutely.
Makes a big difference in what your experience is. And For some people, it just is the dollars at the bottom line, but really it should be the whole experience.
100%. You know, speaking from a person who finished his own basement, and not the house we're in now, but the house previous, it's something that I never would ever do again. You know, because it's so interesting because, you know, when I did it, she would say, what are you doing this week? And I'm like, I'm moving everything from the left side of my basement to the right side of my basement because now I have to work on a different section. Just having that professional in, because a lot of times the things that you think you can do, you can't do. And having those measurements and having that foresight, because I wanted to ask you, how do you guys decide timelines and those sorts of things going into it?
Yeah, so that's a great question as well. So when we meet with a client, they sign contract with us. I meet that third time to go over the product plans or the project plans. We sit down with them. We give them a tentative start date. So they pay their deposit payment. I start pre-ordering all their materials and their supplies so there's no delays, or we try to minimize delays. Once we get that scheduled in on the schedule, we have a cloud-based software we use called BuilderTrend. So with BuilderTrend, they get an owner's portal that they can directly communicate with us through, upload pictures, ask comments on. Also with BuilderTrend, they get a live feed of the schedule. So it tells them who's showing up at what day, at what time to do what task.
Wow. And
it kind of streamlines the process. And it is what sets us aside from our competitors, because there's full transparency and communication. And then we also have an email chain. But back to the question of how we determine how long this is going to take. Well, by now we've done a lot of projects and we kind of base it off an average of what our team can do. So I'll go in there after we have that third meeting with them and I start filling out a construction schedule through BuilderTrend. Give a little bit of buffer in there, but give or take from start to finish of a basement, if everything goes smoothly, we can be in and out there within 10 to 15 weeks. But the difference is from us to anyone else is that we're not subcontracting all the work out. We can handle it in-house, which you can manage craftsmanship a lot better, and the streamlined process. So you know how long tasks are going to take. You're not there 2 days, gone for 1 week, back 1 day, gone for 3 weeks. We're consistently there throughout the process. Aaron and I are there as the project managers and overseeing the project. And then we make site visits on every milestone of the project. So your drywall gets done being finished, we stop by, we visit it and make sure everything's going as according to plan and the craftsmanship's being held. So that's kind of how we gauge it. We're always fine tuning it. There's always better ways to improve it. You know, talking to guys in our industry who's been doing it longer than we have, and leaning on them a little bit for some guidance. But that's a rough idea how we gauge our timelines for our projects.
Yeah. And as a homeowner, I love the idea of who you're hiring is who you're getting.
100%.
It's not just somebody that they've hired.
Well, you know, and we've heard those stories of, you know, we'll talk to a client and they're getting a remodel or something done. And they're like, well, no one's been here in 4 days and I haven't talked to anyone and I have no idea. Or, you know, they'll get the call of like, I've been sitting here all day and nobody came. So having that transparency, I think, is very beneficial because homeowners want to know this is where it's at and this is where it's going.
Absolutely. I mean, right now we got as much done as we possibly can on a kitchen remodel we're on. And with this kitchen remodel, we're delayed because countertops, which is normal, but we communicate that to the homeowner.
Bam.
So we said, these are the 3 phases for the countertops, fabrication dates on the 15th. And after that, we'll get your installation date. And this is what you can expect from us going to the finish line. So once we hit our halfway mark on a project with a client, we meet with them again, Aaron or myself or both of us, if we can make it at the same time. And we go over them. These are what you can expect from us moving forward. What should we expect from you? Just in case they have something,
that.
you know,
Yeah,
because you always
good
want your
thinking.
clients to have buy-in too.
Mhm.
It's not just the contractor. We're doing this together as a team because when you sign the proposal, it's not just a proposal. We agreed. So although we're overseeing the project and keeping it going, we're under agreement that we're going to finish this together because we started this together.
So I can't say, oh, by the way, we're going to be on vacation next week, so we can't get into the house for a lot of, you know.
Well,
So-
thankfully we use a lot of lock boxes, but
Okay.
you know, things like that happens too.
Right.
So access to homes is a key thing. But when we sit down for that third meeting consultation for the plans, we have a separate sheet that says additional information you may want to know. And on that sheet, it details out if there's days where we're not here, why aren't you here? How would you get a hold of us? It has Aaron's, myself, and Nicole, who handles all our behind the scenes work, emails on it from the office. So whenever there's a question, you chain email us so one of us can get back to you and improves the odds.
Very
So
cool.
Great way to run it.
we've learned a lot in the 5 years.
Oh, I can only imagine.
But, you know, and we're going to continue to learn. You're never done learning.
Yeah.
It's just trying to we want to be a household name in our industry in the next 5-10 years. That is a big goal of ours, but baby steps.
There you go.
That makes sense.
Yep. So we were on your website this morning,
Okay.
and I was looking at the pictures and the projects and such, and you've got a lot of cool remodels and things you've done in there. What are some of your most favorite projects that you guys have done in the past 5 years?
Oh, that's awesome. All of them?
All of them.
No, the one that we did was our first home addition in South Lyon. That was really rewarding for us because the main point of building that addition was to get a mother-in-law moved into the house. It was a mother-in-law suite we had on the home. And the best response we got from the client or review was that they made the home addition look like it was built with the home. So we always jokingly say our additions aren't Frankenstein on a home. It's meant to flow like it was existing.
Yeah.
You don't want to look at a house and be like, yeah, they added on.
Right.
But the biggest part of being rewarding for that was you got to essentially put a family together, and she's been wanting to move in with them, and it was a long overdue process. They hired us to do the home addition. So being a family-owned business, when you can bring another family together through the work you did and create that usable space, that's significantly rewarding for us. Other smaller projects we've done when we first started out was a flooring job we did for Learning Tree in Livonia, which was rewarding because that space had to be finished so the kids could enjoy it. And being that we have kids,
Right.
that's our biggest thing. Big community base, giving back. Of course, we love all the wet bars we do. Anything from an L-shaped bar to a horse-shaped bar, horseshoe-shaped bar, anything around there, we've been able to really showcase our team's abilities. A lot of custom work. There's a picture on our website where there's a black countertop bar and like a dark oak bar finish. And on the back side of it, we did board and batten, which is simple finished carpentry, but to match the stain is where the real skill came in. Our guys were able to match the stain with the existing cabinetry to a T. So it isn't just Aaron and I, it's a team. I don't know if you're a Michigan fan, but I am. So unfortunately, but Bo said it perfectly, the team. And
Very true.
I take that to heart. Every time we have our team meetings, we have meetings with our team the first of every month to recap the previous month and discuss the current. And you're only as good as the team you build your organization around.
Yeah.
And just like building a home, when you hire individuals, they're the foundation blocks before you can get to the framework.
Mm-hmm.
And the team we've had, our number one guy's been with us since day one. He's grown with us, and we've been able to offer them more as we've grown. But they're awesome. I mean, we're just very blessed to be where we're at. So to showcase everything we do, I always tell folks when they hire us and they get the project done, like, oh, you did a great job. It wasn't me. It was them. Because I worked for the guys that would show up and say, well, yeah, thank you. And they take the pat on the back. It's like, well, where were you? Yeah. And there's other roles I have to do within the business that limits me from being on the job site, being able to work with them every single day. Aaron's usually out there more often than I am, but it's giving the team credit.
Right.
Yeah. Makes a difference,
Yep. So, and I saw one of your bars on here. I like that, you had a postcard here with the bar, and anybody check out the website and check out the pictures and such. But how do you guys, I know you sit down and you do consultative work with all of your clients, but I assume there's a part of it where you have to go back to the computer and you have to take that and come up with ideas.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge part of what we do. So when we sit down with them, the first thing we like to discuss is rough budget, which can sometimes be an uncomfortable conversation if, who wants to give a contractor a budget? Because they're going to maximize it. It's the biggest fear. And Aaron and I have done our best to minimize that. And we really just want to know so we know a starting point. So if we're spending a lot of time on building a proposal, where do we begin? So cabinet style, if we're doing cabinets in a bar and there's that custom boxes we're building or doing our custom cabinetry, what color do you want? What finish do you want? A painted cabinet is going to be more than a stained cabinet or be less than a stained cabinet. And that's a big part of it. To go back to and draw it though, Nicole, she actually does all of our drafting, 2D and 3D drawings of all of our projects. So our bars, anything we get with our floor plans, things we need to submit for permitting purposes or to create a concept, something they can view. Nicole, we'll go to her with a measurement, sit down with her and say, hey, this is what they're envisioning. Can we put together and kind of paint the picture? Because the main thing too, when you go to proposal review, you're sliding across the table the proposal that has all these numbers, even though it's itemized and broken down. But in your head, you want to make sure the picture you're painting is the same of what they're getting. So that's a lot of time, and a lot of folks might think like, you put a drawing together a couple hours. It could take a couple days, even longer to put something together because you're playing with the computer software to make it all work. But that's what we do to get the bars put together. And a lot of our bars, like homeowners don't have an idea what they want. They know that they want it this big for this much.
Right.
But all the bars you see on our websites, those were blank canvases. One of the unique ones we did, to circle back to the question you asked about, one of my favorite projects, the gentleman who actually created our websites hired us to finish his basement. And when we finished his basement, he's like, hey, I have this idea. He's a big beer drinker, craft beer drinker. He's like, I want a beer tap in my bar. I'm like, okay, that's not a big deal. He's like, no, but I want to run the CO2 line underground when you have the concrete busted up for the wet bar sink for the pull tab. So we put a full-size draft bar system in this basement in a closet and then ran the line underground to the bar. And it was like the best thing ever.
Wow.
Versus, exchanging out smaller CO2 tanks throughout the life of it.
Mm-hmm.
He just had one big one it could run off of, and he still to this day rants and raves about it.
Wow.
Cool.
Another unique build we did was in Lyon Township for 2 school teachers, phenomenal clients we had. They left us a very nice review. They wanted to do a kind of like a day spa. So we ended up building a 5x5 steam shower in their basement. And then when you walked out of the steam shower, there was a custom sauna inside there that we put together for them. So the bathroom itself was like 20 by 15.
Wow.
With a sauna, but it was, you never would have guessed it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, hey, we want to do this. And at the time we had never installed a sauna, but we know we have the capabilities. So it's always about executing the chances you get to showcase your abilities and following through with it to where you have that content now to where people trust you. Because you'll miss some opportunities if you don't have the content to support it. But when you have the folks that are willing to take an opportunity on a smaller business like ours, it's always worked out. We always execute because the best thing you can do is form a team around you that has more knowledge than you. So everyone on our team, they've been in the industry 2 decades or more. Our foreman, he's been doing this 26 years now. So the knowledge he brings. Our other carpenters are similar to him in experience. So yeah, we might be a 5-year-old company, but the knowledge that we have in this business and those working for us or with us, it's double.
So the experience is there.
Yeah.
The experience is there. Don't let the age of the company fool you.
Yeah.
And I just love hearing that custom look and those custom things, the sauna, the CO2 line, that people are getting something extra in terms of what they're looking for.
Yeah, we no knock on the box stores, but we try to avoid box stores at all costs because we don't want people to ever look at a project as like, man, this costs a lot. It's an investment because you can get the money back out of this. As long as we do it right, and we will do it right, it's an investment. That's the best way to look at it. But like you said, custom. When I say custom, you're getting custom. There's another picture on our website where we did a thin brick tile heated floor in a mud room / laundry room in Ann Arbor. And then all the built-ins that we have in there, that was all assembled in our shop piece by piece and put together on site. And that was custom.
Right.
But the main thing to look at, is value or quality. And our team can bring both to the table. By no means are we the most expensive, or by no means are we the most least expensive, the cheapest. We try to fall in the middle and have a fair competitive wage, our price for our projects. And it's worked out very well.
Right.
But you have to just keep following through with it because everyone's always critiquing you and build off it. And we've done really good with it. But yeah, custom is a big thing. So when you hire custom from us, you are getting a custom job.
And, that's so good because, having walked through thousands of homes with being a realtor and such, you walk into basements or master bathroom, primary bathrooms or kitchens, you can tell when this came from a big box store versus, someone took their time and built this.
Absolutely.
And you can tell the quality difference for the professionalism as well.
Yeah, there's a saying that I'm sure you've heard a million times, but cheap work isn't quality and quality work isn't cheap.
Right.
Yeah. There's a true meaning behind you get what you paid for. And when you invest in companies, the value might be higher than what you're looking to spend, but sometimes spending that extra dollar to get a better quality is totally worth it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
So. But since we had a chance to connect a little bit here, our minds have been just going nonstop of like, ooh, we need to have
we've got like 3 projects at our house in the next 5 years, so we're going to be talking to you about it. Let's go.
I think it's turned into 4, 5, 6. Every time we turn around, he's like, hey, I had an idea. Did you see how they were doing these basements? I know we already did our basement, but
yeah, I need a new bar at this point. That's on the list now.
So you're definitely giving good ideas. And I really liked on your website how you mentioned how long it took you, how many weeks or how much something was at the time with the context of the dates and so forth, because obviously things continue to go up.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
really
contractors that are willing to put that kind of information out there that you have on your website. Mm-hmm. And we really commend you for that because we're like, wow.
Thank you.
That's how much that it makes you different.
Yeah, so you're referencing the project portfolio page. So our biggest thing when we create the company was be transparent, so there's no questions. So what we'll do is we put up there for the listeners, we put up pictures of the projects that we completed, and then on top of that, we had a bio of what we did with this project. We had the weeks it took to complete. Even if there's any delays, we're very open about it. And then we also tell you the year and the time frame that we did it, so April 2023, for ideas. And then we'll put the budget that it took to achieve that project, whether it's $80,000, $25,000, whatever the cost was. So we're very open about it. That's a benchmark to give homeowners an idea. Okay, when I call this company, am I within their budget? Can I invest as much as they're going to need to get it done, or should I hold off? This way, it's saving the consumer's time, which is valuable, and it's saving our time, which is valuable. And we're just very upfront and honest with it. And both of our websites, ATA Custom Basements as well as Residential Solutions, very upfront and just showcasing that.
No, that's so valuable because there's so often that a homeowner will call up a company to say, hey, I want to get my kitchen remodeled, right? And they have no idea. And then the company comes in and they're sitting across from them. They say $120,000 and they leave and they're like, we're never going to get our kitchen remodeled. Right. And that's the end of their conversation. That's the end of the journey, basically, where you guys are giving them an idea beforehand, so they're not set up for disappointment before they even start.
No, absolutely. And another thing we do too is like at the end of a project, we do our debrief with our clients. So Aaron and I will meet with them in person, and any things we can improve on, or if there was nothing or whatever it is, we take the feedback and we do it to better our business, which in contracting world, there are a lot of type A personalities, and sometimes egos can get in the way with carpenters, and a lot of folks aren't willing to have that criticism, but it's constructive. So we do our best to get the feedback any chance we get from homeowners, and that's what's helped their growth too. Just be a sponge, take it all in.
Right.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Great. Well, I know we had mentioned the website, so let's make sure that our listeners know what it is. It appears that it's this ATAresidentialsolutions.com. Is that the best place to look at?
Yep. So that anytime you're looking for like general remodeling, home additions, it's ATAresidentialsolutions.com. If you're looking for finish or custom basements, ATAcustombasements.com. You can still find finished basements on the residentialsolutions.com, but there's more on the ATAcustombasements.com. We're also active on Instagram and Facebook, ATA Residential Solutions. Give us a like, give us a follow. We're very active on that. We try to post 3 to 4 times per week, give an update of what we're doing. And we show everything from the unattractive, rough phase of construction to the final phase. Everyone shares the final photos, but my big belief and Aaron's big belief is showing what it takes to get to that point. All the in-between, the problems we had to troubleshoot. Just paints a better picture of who ATA is.
Yep, and I love the before and after shots. A lot of times you just get the after, and you're like, well, I don't know where that came from. Yeah. How big of an improvement was this here?
Yeah, really offer some context.
Absolutely.
It was cool.
And I try to do the live reels too. That sometimes I forget to do them or I just fall behind on it. But we try to do live updates. I go to the project sites and visit with the guys and say, hey, this is what they got going on. These are the problems we ran into, and this is how we troubleshooted it. So that's just huge.
Right. Makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, one of the questions I always want to make sure to ask our guests, I get very excited about it because honestly, like for the first several episodes that we had, everybody had a different answer. But so my question to you, Alan, is what do you like best about Livingston?
Oh, where do I start? First thing first, I would say it's been arms wide open for us. Before Aaron moved up near me in Linden, he lived in Brighton, off Kinston Road in 96 area. And it's just been arms wide open. They've helped us out so much with the growth of our business. At the end of any of my reels I do, I always say thank you to the community. If it wasn't for the support of you, we wouldn't be where we're at. And it's so true. There's so much opportunity in Livingston County and the Brighton area in general. Just everyone's coming to it. Leaving Oakland County to come to Livingston County or wherever else they're migrating from to it. There's room for growth. There's a lot of opportunity here. The people are great. There's so much community support. And I think for small businesses, community support is huge.
Absolutely.
And it's been awesome here. I mean, even where we're at the All Heart Garage, Dan and Anna Oginski, who also own Brighton Lighthouse. When they first opened that, Aaron and I were looking for that retail space we were talking about before we started the podcast. And we couldn't find nothing and met them through our SearSnack group. Yeah. Steve referred us to them and we're like, yeah, we'll go take a look at it. And we walked in and like, wow, this is us. Where do we sign? And it's folks like Dan and Anna who are in this community and in this county have been great and influential to small businesses and so helpful. And that just helped really sealed the deal for us. So much so that, we're originally from South Lyon, but we changed all of our social media to Brighton, Michigan, where our location is, because we're so proud to be a part of this county, this community, and can't wait to see what the future has in store for us.
That is awesome.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Alan. We learned a whole lot, and can't wait to have you out, and maybe we can do an episode later on down the road to see on how it turned out. But we definitely want to get you guys in to help out for us, and certainly we'll be referring you to our clients in the future.
I look forward to it. Thank you for having me in.
Oh, no problem. Well, thank you everyone for listening today. Please check out our podcast online anywhere that you can find your podcast. You can also go to our website, welcometolivingston.com, and just click on the podcast. And if you're looking for how to contact ATA Residential Solutions, it will be in the show notes on your podcast. So you can find out their information there, but find them on Instagram, find them on Facebook, or check out their website as well. So thank you so much for listening today, and welcome to Livingston.